you can watch the whole parade take place in the 15 minutes that it takes in this little town of Mansalota for the Bass Festival, which is when?
At the end of May.
The end of May. Oh, but it's cool. I like the
May.
idea. I don't even like parades.
Yeah.
I hated driving in them. I've never liked to go see them. I always thought they were just super boring. But
You have
I feel like
upstairs view.
I have an upstairs view. That's different. You know, that could make me like parades because I don't have to wait. I don't have to get in line. I don't have to deal with a horde of people.
Yes, it's not too people-y up here.
I can just watch.
There you go. And then you could people watch as well while you're watching the parade go by. So that's
overrated too.
Okay.
You know what you were walking in here today? You're
yeah.
so much more of a nicer person than I am.
Oh, well, I try. I don't know. I just, that's just the way I was raised. I don't know. And I'm glad.
It's great.
Because
I
my
love
mom
it.
was
That's
just
why we're
amazing.
friends.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why. That's mostly why I think. Honestly, I was trying to.
But
I didn't want to ask you before. What were you going to say?
I was just trying to figure out how long we've known each other, but we didn't really know each other lip sync time.
No,
because I was
that's
with
where
a
we met.
different station at that time. But because I haven't been with this company and it'll be 14 years in August.
So, yeah, 14 years, pretty much, yeah.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy though, how fast that went by.
I was thinking about it because you were just mentioning, you know, I can't believe that I'm 3 years into this 5-year plan, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that goes by so fast. It's definitely a product of when you get older because you don't feel that shit when
No.
you're younger, you know? You're like, holy shit, it was 5 years ago. Oh my God, it was 14 years ago. It's honestly, because at least in my case, starting radio late. It's like I've had different eras of my life. I think about that shit all the time, just different eras, right?
Yeah.
And I was 31 when I started at the radio station, just from nothing.
And I don't even know your background is like how you got into doing that at all. Like, cause I went to Specs Howard and I actually wanted to go into film cause I went to CMU, but then I couldn't afford to go tuition back. So I went to Specs Howard, thought I'd go into television, but they make you learn both. Ended up getting in radio and never left. So how did you?
I mean, I went to Specs.
Okay.
I went to Specs, but it was like I was working at True Green Chemlon, and I just felt stuck. My mom kind of had a cancer scare, so I had like a little mini nervous breakdown where I was just like, "Fuck, what am I doing with my life?" You know, I was kind of doing just like, fucking dead end jobs, not dead end jobs, but you're bartending over here, you're driving cab, I sold vacuum cleaners for a couple weeks, trying to fucking make money.
Yeah.
And then I was at True Green Chemlon, and nothing against that company. I just hated that job. And I was like, fuck this. And I remember one day, and I had always wanted to get into radio just as an idea. I didn't even know if I was going to be good at it or anything. And like, I was just sitting at work one day. I was there for 2 years at True Green, and I went out to go on a route to do whatever lawns I was doing that day. And I was like, fuck this. And I just ended up sitting at the Grand Traverse Mall in the parking lot. And I was just sitting there going, fuck. And I called up my ex-girlfriend, Danielle, and bless her heart. I'm just like, I hate this fucking job. I got to get the fuck out of here. I got to quit. She's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to go to radio school. She's like, then do it. Quit.
Yeah.
You know? And I went and got a job at my old job at the cab company. They said, yeah, come on back, you know, and I started like the next day or something, and signed up for radio school, quit that fucking job. I drove right back to True Green, dropped my keys off and said, I'm fucking outie, and which I don't ever do, but I was just over it. I couldn't do it, you know, and then I just went to radio school, and
boom, then the next thing you know, you're in radio.
I was just thinking about, you know, I don't see a lot of Specs Howard or students from other schools getting hired in radio much anymore. It's like when I got hired, I don't know what it was like for you, but like, you know, you start in a small market, right? That's kind of the whole idea.
Yep.
Where you just go there, and I remember just going and doing everything. Every shit job that needed to be done there at 5:30 in the morning, leaving at like 1 o'clock in the morning. A lot of times, just doing all the bullshit, the part-time things that you do.
Yeah.
You know,
just get your foot in the door.
Just get your foot in the door. Just keep doing things. You know, but I mean, I bet it was a year or two before I even got out of doing that. Really.
I lucked out. I don't know how. I worked at a small AM station in Fenton, was my first gig. But then we moved up here, and quite frankly, didn't have a job. I didn't know what I was going to do. I went to a broadcasting, the MAB in Mount Pleasant. Well, my mom was going to a Special Olympics event because she was big into helping at the same time at the school. So we went together, and I did the broadcasting, but she ran into somebody she was looking for me. She, oh, my daughter's in radio, love her, blah, blah, blah. Said, have her send us a thing. It turned out it was Reggie Box.
Who's that?
At WKLT.
Okay.
Like, he passed a while back, but and then the next thing I know, I sent my tape in, I sent my resume in, probably a month later, I got hired to do weekends.
Yeah.
And out of that little studio in Kalkaska upstairs that you could see through the floor, and spin actual albums.
What do you mean you could? I remember when that studio was. I remember seeing that studio was in Caucasia. There was
like
a hole in the floor.
Piping, you could see down into the downstairs. And I'd sleep there because I'd be on at night. I'd get off at midnight, and then I'd have to be on at 6 a.m. Well, I lived, like an hour away. Yeah. So I would be like, I'm just going to crash here because it wasn't on. From
There's so many people that do that.
crazy.
There's so many people that end up doing that. I feel like just like the commute, and you would end up crashing at the radio station, or because you got to be there the next day at fucking early in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It saved gas too.
Yeah. Mine was like I remember. I stayed in Traverse City, got the job in Sheboygan. That's a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
And I was working after I was out of radio school. And I was waiting probably 3 to 4 to. Fuck did I get? October 06. I started February of 07. So I was looking for a job for pretty much 4 months. Mm-hmm. And when I started, I was part-time weekends, and then like it started to be another day here, another day in the week. And I kind of just didn't even ask my girlfriend or anybody. I was kind of a dick about it. And I just said, I got to go up there. And I just moved in with Cartman.
Oh, wow.
And stayed there until I found a place, because I was just like, I can't make this drive. I have to make this job work. I don't want to say overly committed, but I was so fucking focused on just making it work.
Yeah.
That I just said, I got to move, I'm out.
I like your attitude as to like, you're still doing that for this, I'm following your little journey. I can't wait to see you in, doing the thing.
Yeah, no, me too.
It's going to be so cool.
I don't know when I realized that it was kind of a similar parallel kind of journey. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing in radio. I had no clue. I got into radio to be I wanted to be a play-by-play guy. My dream job was the play-by-play for the Tigers, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, but I figured out very quickly that my talents don't lend themselves to that job.
Well, like, what about your talent doesn't lend yourself to that?
I don't come up with, I can't formulate words necessarily. It's hard to make the connection from intelligent thought to intelligent words.
Yes.
I'm a lot better at it now in this form than I was when I started.
I agree with that. Even now, like coming here, I was like, what are we going to talk about? Because what if I can't think of anything to say?
Right. But honestly, the same sort of like radio breakthroughs, because I thought the same thing. That's the way I did the podcast before, is I have to have topics and I have to have a thing. And that talk practice that I did on Sunday, I'm pretty much done with it. I might do one more or two more, because my Sunday mornings are going to be filled up with something else. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, I had to figure out how to do it.
Yeah. To
get past the brain blocks, and that totally helped me. Just to sit there. I had like anxiety attacks on some of these early like talk practices where I was just like clamming up. I didn't have anything to talk about. You're live. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Once you let yourself sit with it, and let yourself get better at it, then fucking it's hard. You just got to commit yourself to it.
It is still hard, yes, but it gets a little bit easier the more you do it, like anything. I keep trying to teach my granddaughter who's 6. Yeah. I keep saying the power of yet, because she'll be like, I'm not good at this yet. You're not good at this yet. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Gabby Stellhouse, because I love that power of yet. I
didn't read it, audiobook. I don't want to make it seem like I was reading when I wasn't. But it was, and admittedly, I fucking got the book because I'm a Detroit Lions super fan, and Dan Campbell is like one of my fucking heroes now at this point, life heroes. He's always talking about grit, I didn't get the book because of that necessarily. I was watching Pat McAfee sports show, and they had Chuck Pagano, who is the former head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. And they started talking about Dan Campbell and the grit stuff. And Chuck Pagano brought up that he read the book Grit by, I can't remember the name, who wrote it, but it was a psychologist who really did like expert studies on like grit, just the ability to, the stick-to-itiveness.
Right.
If you fucking stick to it, and you just keep doing it despite what everybody's fucking saying, if you feel like you're on the right track, if you feel like, honestly, for as many dick punches as I've had over this past couple of years with like moving and housing and all that shit, you would think I would have just
Gave up. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know how I've maintained my positivity, but I do know how, because I see that what I'm doing is working. I see, even though there's those real world dick punches, like you look at like the numbers and you look at the things and you look at it,
Yeah.
it all adds up.
It does. The feedback of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, I still don't believe in myself enough, but you do get those moments of like, hey, look what you helped do. And then you're like, okay, maybe I'll stick with it a little bit. And then it turns into a little bit longer, a little bit, and you just don't give up.
What the hell? Everything.